Hi, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Cantey, and this is another episode of Living Enlightened Every Day. And I always add that every day because that is how it came to me. It is that living enlightened is how I am being every day. It is a choice, it is a way of being that is my natural state, my natural essence. It isn't some place I get to and then I relax in. It is a constant presence or awareness or consciousness or conscious awareness, whatever we want to call it. It is being. It is being authentically me, this expression. So I say every day, every moment of every day, it is that awareness of loving my life and living my passion, knowing that I am 100% responsible of how I am being, who I am being. Does that make sense? Because that's what we're exploring today. Stay tuned. So as you listen to this, I just invite you to check in and just see, how are you being? Do you know that you're going to find something incredible about you in this podcast as we look into taking 100% responsibility for our lives? And what does that even mean? Because that is the biggest question I get from clients, from friends, from strangers. You know, it's, what do you mean by 100% responsibility? There's so much going on all the time. I'm not responsible for it. And so, yeah, we talk about, I'm not responsible for creating the weather. I'm not responsible for creating the earth or the galaxies or the stars. We can just start there. There's a whole nother discussion behind that one, but we'll just start right there. I am, however, responsible for how I am being in the weather, for who I am being in the relationship, how I am being as a parent, who I am being in my job or my vocation. In any given moment, I can check in and decide to be 100% responsible for how I feel, how I respond, how I speak to people, how I decide not to speak to people, how I show up in the world, how I don't show up in the world. I can choose to be responsible for 100% of the time, 100% of what is going on. In other words, I can decide that there is nothing outside of me that can disturb who I am being, how I choose to be. There is nothing that can disturb that. There isn't the hurricane or the tax bill or the angry ex-spouse or the child throwing the tantrum. I can decide that I can be 100% responsible for who I am being, for how I show up in the world. And that is the most amazing gift we give to ourselves when we truly realize, when we make real for ourselves that we can choose. If someone walks up to you and says, "You look ridiculous wearing that hat, those shoes, that outfit, and driving that car, talking to that person," what would it take for you to not have any thought about that whatsoever? Somebody is telling you you are a fool, you are ridiculous, you look stupid. Maybe they're saying you are. Whatever it is, their opinion of you or the circumstance or something you're participating in, what does it take for you to not respond or to laugh or to walk away or whatever, to not be disturbed at all. And the only thing that it takes is a decision. It's just a thought. It's a recognition this person is saying something. They're either trying to offend me or they're not trying to offend me. Either way, it wouldn't matter because I am choosing how I want to respond or not respond, how I want to participate or not participate. But the thing is, it doesn't have to disturb me at all unless or until I agree with them, right? If I said, I don't look ridiculous, I have somehow agreed that they see this as ridiculous, and I'm going to defend my position that it's not ridiculous. I know a lot of people who say, but they're challenging me. They've said something that's not true. That's right. They've said something that is not true. They're speaking their opinion. Why in the world would we, as living in our authenticity, care about someone's opinion about us? What they think of us is none of our business. How they perceive us is none of our business. Do we want to be effective in our relationships? Do we want to be effective at work? Of course, we can take things in, we can learn from them, we can ask, we can discern. Is this true? Is there something about this that I need to address for me? Let me think about that. Yes, there is. I can be more considerate. I could be more kind. I could be more patient given the circumstances. I could be more loving, more compassionate if that's how I am seeing what is presented to me. Or I ask the same question, considering the source that it's coming from. And I say, I am standing here with my heart open, in love with this situation, being completely present, and it's not accepted by that person or this group of people. If there's a common opinion about what I'm doing that isn't accepted, that's okay too, right? Isn't it? Because at the end of the day, we get to ask that question, have I been my authentic self? Have I been loving and compassionate? Have I been kind and patient? Have I been living my wonderful life in this unique expression that I am right here, right now? And when we close our eyes and we can just say, yeah, that was good. You did good today. It's like that's all that matters. And that's being 100% responsible for expressing our authentic self and for learning what it is we want to learn to become more expressive, more loving, more compassionate, more powerful, more authentic, a more effective communicator, all those things. We take it all in. We don't have to deny. We don't have to deny anyone else's opinions or ideas, and we don't have to accept them as truth. They're stating an opinion, they're stating a fact for themselves. It doesn't necessarily have to land for us in the same way unless we choose to go in that direction. There is not one person, not one thing that can disturb my peace unless I give it permission, unless I allow it to disturb my peace. There is not one person that can make me withdraw my love, my caring, my compassion. It doesn't matter what they are doing because I can love them from afar. I don't have to withdraw. I don't have to contract because of what someone else is doing. It doesn't mean I want to participate or even stay in the same vicinity as what is happening, but I don't have to allow it to disturb who I am. So you can see where we're going with this is that I always have the choice to be 100% responsible. And what I hear all the time is, yeah, but you don't know my boss. You don't know my spouse. You don't know my one kid. I'm great with the other kids, but this one, you don't know my situation. You don't know my past. You don't know my history. You don't know my situation, my circumstances, the events that have transpired. You don't know that this person stole from me, betrayed me, hates me. And it's like, well, yeah, those are pretty common things that we're all pretty familiar with. People can do all of those things. But does it have to make us be something that we have decided not to be, to show up in a manner that we have decided that no longer serves us or the situation any longer? And if we explore that question, it doesn't. Nothing that anyone can do can disturb who I am. And so we have situations where we are pretty good at taking 100% responsibility because it's easy, right? We're in a great relationship, or we're in a great work environment, or we get to work from home and be alone all day. Well, that's easy. We're not really interacting with a lot of people. We're on the computer. Not too much to disturb you there. But then, and it's the yeah, but I have addictions. I've had problems with the ex-spouse. I have this, I have that, whatever that is. And I get it. It seems insurmountable. It seems like someone is doing something to you to make you feel and act a certain way, but it isn't. And I love to use the example of the hurricane. I live in Northeast Florida. We get them. We get warnings and situations and storms and craziness. And you can imagine that if you were experiencing, whether it's a hurricane or an earthquake or a volcano, or, think of some natural force, a tropical storm, whatever it is, and there's things that you must do, or that you're informed for yourself that you need to do. Get to a safe place, get the dog, get the kids, get some food, get enough water, whatever the situation is, so that you feel prepared, you feel empowered enough that you know that this is what you are called to do. You can do those things in a panic, in an upset, with high blood pressure, with ranting and raving, yelling, screaming at the storm. How dare you come here? Because that helps, said no one ever. It doesn't help. It won't resolve the situation that the storm is predicted to come your way. So the ranting and the raving and the upset doesn't have to happen. It's all of our thoughts about the situation that are causing that upset. We can actually get everything done that we need to do in peace, in power, in freedom. Freedom to be empowered as we're going through these steps that we need to do anyway. Or we can feel like we've lost control of everything, like we have no say in this. Which one feels better? Which one can you imagine would accomplish more in a shorter amount of time with less stress on your body? I mean, it's pretty easy. So how do we get there? I sometimes joke, maybe too often, about, the tax bill, because not this year, but last year, I had a tax bill that was pretty shocking. And the same year I had my home insurance, because of hurricane insurance and flood insurance and all those wonderful things tacked onto it. My hurricane insurance doubled. My taxes doubled. Things I was not expecting at all. And, I could just feel, opening the bill, expecting incremental increases like it's always been, and seeing something that is double into the thousands, and knowing that I don't have that money earmarked for that. There's I've spent that money on some other things and other investments and other things that I cannot be pulled out at this particular time. I can feel my eyes just get as big as saucers. I can feel my heartbeat start to just pound in my chest. I can feel, the sensation behind my eyes, behind my throat tightening. I can feel all that. As soon as I feel it, I'm like, just breathe, because I know that feeling. That feeling is that I'm I'm about to be out of control over something that I don't know, or I don't understand what's going on. And I breathe, and I breathe, and I breathe more, and I close my eyes usually, and just breathe into it. And in the silence, in the stillness, there's the thought, "Hmm, I think I'll call my financial advisor. He might know why my tax bill is, crazy. I'll call my accountant. They might know why my tax bill, has doubled. Let's get the information." I can do that in absolute peace and calm. I can call them with joy. "Hey, thank you for being here. Thank you for returning my call. Thank you for being the expert that you are. I have a question. I have this situation. What do you recommend? What do you see as a reason for this? Is it a mistake? Is it legitimate? Is it, something I could prevent in the future, or something that I could never prevent? Like, why didn't I know about this? Inform me, educate me, allow me to be enlightened around this." And you get that they are now in service to you, helping you. But if I called them up ranting and raving and being in distress, the frequency that I'm sending out might not be the most helpful for the situation. And it's certainly not helpful for my body, for me. So taking 100% responsibility all the time to see that everything out there is happening, whether we like it or not. It almost never has anything to do with us. I like to say to clients, if there's anything to change, then it's ours to change. It's always ours to change, not the boss, not the spouse, not the kid, not the job, not the employee. If there's anything in a situation to change, it's ours. It's mine. I take 100% responsibility. And if there's nothing to change, if there's nothing a hurricane is on its way, I nothing I can do about that. Not one little thing I can do about that. So I say, if there's anything to change, then it's mine to change. If there's nothing to change, that's spirit. That's life living itself. That's the universe expressing itself. There is nothing, that's up to God. I can say, "God, keep me safe in this hurricane." I can, pray for whatever brings me comfort. But if there's something to change, my boss is always like this. My boss never does this. My boss is so blah, blah, blah. I'm creating a situation with my boss. If you don't think that people know your thoughts, they do. We are all connected. It's like the World Wide Web is literal. We are all connected. We are all one. And so every time we speak about the situation in that really negative, degrading, or uninspiring way, non-useful thinking, whenever we do that, we are recreating the situation again and again and again. So what does that mean? If our situation at work feels untenable, if we feel like this is the it's stressful, it's uh, and we can say it feels like my boss is always not happy with my results, not happy with my project management, not happy with whatever it is that I'm doing. Instead of constantly creating with negativity and negative words, I can turn that within. Who am I being? How have I participated? How am I 100% responsible for this? How can I turn this around for me, not for my boss? See, that's again, when we take 100% responsibility for ourselves, we do everything for ourselves. If we know we are giving 100% and we are doing our best and it is not appreciated, but we have been creating that, our boss is not smart. Our boss is unappreciative. My boss is unlikable. My boss is stupid. My boss just doesn't get it. My boss, blah, if we've been creating that, then stop creating that. Create that this person is doing the best that they can all the time in any given moment. Create that you are always doing the best that you can all the time in every given moment, and live that, live into it. Create that you are connected by that which you cannot see, and that your boss is responding to your respect for them, to your appreciation of you having this job, of your appreciation of your self-expression in this particular job, in this particular way. And you keep going with that. And if still that person does not love and accept you as you are loving and accepting yourself. Let's just say you've switched it over now for 3 months and you are living into this new identity of being loving and compassionate and powerful and empowered, and that you are being your authentic expression at work in your utmost capacity to fulfill this job position, and it is still not appreciated and not liked, then beyond a shadow of a doubt, it is time to look for something else, for a greater way for yourself to express. So that's how you know. But if you leave and you've been creating this situation that this person's terrible, this person does this and they never do that and they can't do that and they're unintelligent, and you have all this energy around it, what are you carrying into the next situation? You may quit because you haven't taken 100% responsibility. Whenever we blame anyone else, we're forgetting we're forgetting that if there's anything to change, it is ours to change. If there's nothing to change, it is the universe. It's like, oh, nothing to change. I can't change anything about this situation. Oh, that means it's God, it's spirit, it's life living itself. If there's something to change, if I don't like something, if I'm unhappy with something, if I'm um, got anxiety around something, it's mine to change, not theirs. Those people are not going to live their life to make us feel better about ourselves. We choose to feel the power, the the creativity, the passion, the love and the joy and the beauty that we are. And when someone cannot see that and they express that to us, you're a fool for doing that, or you look ridiculous doing that, or you don't know what you're talking about, or that project was horribly handled. It can't move us inside unless we choose to be moved by that. We can stand in that power of loving kindness and for ourselves and others, and take responsibility and even say things like, I appreciate that that's what you think. I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that with me because it doesn't affect me at all. I appreciate that. And you see people doing this and you wonder, how are they not bothered? Because they are taking 100% responsibility for how they feel, for who they are being, for how they show up for themselves in life. We can decide there is nothing that can move me off my center. There is not one mean, angry, thoughtless person that can say something that can move me off my center. And I hear you, you say, yeah, but you don't know my mom. Yeah, but you don't know my, situation. Like I said, I get that a lot. You might too. And turn it around. Just ask yourself the question, what if I could change everything about this situation? What if it's mine to change? What if I took 100% responsibility, not 90? It's not saying, well, I'll do this, but if they don't respond, if they don't do what I like, if they don't behave the way that makes me feel better, well, that's not 100% responsibility, is it? It's being 100% responsible. And this is just the basic layer, there's so many ways we could go deep with this. And if you're struggling with this, just know that there are tools and practices and ways to move yourself into loving your life and living your passion. I talk about this in my book, Living Enlightened, The Joy of Integrating Spirit, Mind, and Body. It's available on Amazon. And I coach clients on this all the time because guess what? We weren't taught this in school. We weren't taught this by our parents, or at least most of us clearly weren't taught this. We weren't taught this by our parents because they weren't taught this. Most of us see ourselves as victims to everything that's going on around us because that's what we're taught. We're taught to protect ourselves. We're taught to contract. We're taught to barricade. We're taught to put on the armor. We're taught to fight back. We're taught to give as good as we get. We're taught, all of these things. We're taught to never let anyone talk to you that way. So you tell them, you make sure you know that they know how you feel. We're taught all of those things, and we're never taught that there is no one, there is no thing that could ever disturb who you are being when you decide that for yourself. So I invite you this week to really look into that, to ask yourself those questions, to give yourself the opportunity to observe the when someone says something to you, or when the unexpected bill comes, or the diagnosis, or the whatever it is, and you see the heart rate and the eyes dilating and the headache beginning and the neck muscles tensing. Breathe and realize even this, that which is happening right now, it cannot disturb who I am. And then allow the information, the inspiration that you need in that moment for resolution to flow into you, through you, in you, as you, so that you can participate in a resolution. You can take inspired action to find a resolve to whatever that situation or that relationship or that event is. I invite you this week to do that and to let me know how it goes. Leave a comment. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and Subscribe because you'll get to see all the new videos as they come out, and share it with a friend. They may be ready, like you, to take 100% responsibility. And we'll talk about this again because it is a deep, deep topic. It really is. And this is just the beginning. I hope you have fun with it this week. Laugh, love, and live enlightened in 100% responsibility for yourself, knowing that there is nothing that can disturb who you choose to be, how you choose to show up in this world.